I find it a little bit difficult at times when we try and get inspiration from older music. Should it be expected from a dancer that they should perform well under a music that they don't typically like?
That is a good
or
question.
to bad music?
That's a whole nother day. That's a whole nother question.
Should it be expected that a dancer should dance well to music that he or she does or doesn't like? And should it also be expected that, dancers in general should do well even in like a circumstance where you have bad music being played?
Oh, man, I feel like you can go three different ways with this question.
Yeah.
One being, okay, if we're dancing to 4/4 time music all the time, right? Well, the beat is going to be continuously repetitive. If you understand music in any sort of way, repetitive way, like you're going to have to hop on the beat. And if you can't do that, then, all right. But the other point is, how much are you as a dancer, knowing your music? And if you're going into competition, right, you should have a handle on understanding what music is out there. But that's kind of coming from a competition perspective.
I don't know, but I take issue with that one. I take issue with, dancers are supposed to kind of have this expectation to have an understanding that sometimes the music is going to change, and you should also change the format and how you dance. Because if it's a music that I don't genuinely like, or a music that is just bad, or if it's mixed bad, or whatever the case may be, I think a lot of people would find issue with that.
I think there's limits and boundaries to my statement on like understanding what music is out there. Because obviously, you've been to jams with, where bad music was played. And
yeah, too many times to count.
And you just standing there looking at the DJ, or you looking down at the crowd like, why did this song just come off our beat? Like, no. And so either the song is just not giving enough energy for you to be able to take that and explode with it. I can see that being a problem.
Right.
But then if you get into something that's like a whole nother genre that just doesn't have the elements that you need to be able to accentuate your moves, like it kind of becomes a different question. Like what performance setting or what type of vibe does the music provide that allows you to add to it or be able to interpret it for the dance floor? If we're in a battle, there's a vibe about a battle that's limited in a way, right?
Okay.
And limited in a way that's like, okay, what am I doing? I'm trying to show out. I'm trying to be big, performative, right? I'm trying to battle you, right? It's a competition.
But that's different from the lens of every breaker. Like I feel every breaker has either a performance lens, or they have a set type of lens, or someone might have something else. Going either the route of being a performer versus being someone who can run through sets.
And how music kind of affects that. I guess before you get to that question, which type of b-boy does it affect the most?
It affects the performer, definitely.
Well, and I'll say that's one of those things where people can perform the things that they know get big kudos, right?
Yeah.
Without the necessity of having a dope beat. And if you have a dope beat, like it's going to charge you up. It's going to charge you up to be more creative and do more things and actually listen. But I think that's been a conversation that's happened for as long as breaking's been alive, which is the people who, let's say, people like Heat Rock. Like, Heat Rock is dope when you have a hype song with all this musical cues that you can hit.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it comes to something that's a little bit more slow, or if you have like a song that's not as dense, you might not have enough to play with to be able to throw enough moves out dancing wise,
right,
that can actually impress. Whereas you have maybe a power head or somebody who can throw moves that are high level.
I think He Rock's more of a special situation. I've seen him do really well with more of a musicality perspective, and I've seen him do really well, not from a set, because I wouldn't really say Heat Rock's more of a set type of person, but
no.
I've seen him do very well, like in terms of being very clean and being very direct with his movements, like on the ground with his groundwork. I've seen that. People like myself, though, I've struggled very hard, like to try and find myself in a set like behavior. A lot of the times, whenever I like to do my own movements, I like to be very abstract. I like to be very spontaneous. I like to be very entertaining. So, and I feel like a lot of those things don't associate very well whenever it comes to people who like to do only sets. Mm-hmm. Like only sets, like to be honest, I feel like if you're going to be a breaker, and this kind of goes into everyone's judging perspective, like the judges themselves, I feel like some judges will look more so into how clean you are or how much content you can produce or how well of a performer are you, mm-hmm. right? But it's never all three of those things at one time from one judge.
But if get back to like the music piece, right?
Right.
Which is, I kind of want to get into this point of, let's say if we divide the dancers into a few different types, right?
Right.
The sets, I'm going to do athletic movement, right? Things that are high level movement versus people who try to focus completely on style versus people who focus completely on musicality and style, right?
Right.
So if, let's say just these are two groups. If you've got different songs that are different tempos, different whatever, right? The person that's going to affect less is the person who dances regardless of the music that they have on.
Yeah.
But then how do you view that versus the people who really can show out when a song is like really, they're in tune with the song really?
Right.
Versus when they're not in tune with the song. Like it goes up and down for the person who dances.
I think creativity plays a really big part because I feel like you can't be really much a musicality type dancer without having creativity. That being able to be spontaneous and do something that people weren't expecting on a beat and stuff like that, that stuff takes a whole bunch of hard work.
There's a wow factor to that.
Yeah.
There's a wow factor that you just can't create.
Yeah.
Like you can't pencil it in.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?